a force to be reckoned with in the poetry community. She has helped all of us in Wide Eyes and in our Manifestation Nation and in our group, and she just speaks so well with all of us, and like she's kind of the mother of our group. Like she's the adulty adult. We're adults, but she's the adulty adult. And her work and her book, She's Come Undone. I've only read a couple pages of it because I have so many books. It expresses so much heart and soul, and she's just gonna come up and give you her heart and soul right now. So give it up to Nia.
Yes. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Okay, so this is awesome for me because I move around. But can you hear me from the front to the back? Yes? Okay, so then I'm gonna do without that. Okay. And get into what we are here for. And so one, she did it so eloquently, but I still gotta say it. Harlem in the building now. Okay. Thank you so much. And now for why we're here. So one, before we begin, I want to thank our organizer, Cheyenne Tyler Jacobs, for this event. Thank her for understanding the need for this. Thank her for being willing to be a voice for this. Thank her for creating a space for victims and creating a space where people can learn and understand. Thank you, Shanice, for everything. And before we begin, I also want to say thank you to the men who are here. Because you may not realize how important it is for you to be here, but we're going to do a little demonstration right now for you to understand how important it is for you to be here. So I need everybody's participation, but some of you actually won't have to do anything but count. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3. If you're a 3 and you're a lady, I want you to stand up. If you're a man and you're a 3, you don't have to do anything. But if you're a lady, I want you to stand up. Okay? So it's going to look something like this. 1, 2, 3. I'll stay standing. 1, 2, 3. Stand up. 1, 2, 3. You're already standing. Stay standing. 1, 2, 3. Stand up, please, ma'am. Okay. This is what it actually looks like. 1 in 3 women are in or have been in relationships that include domestic violence. This is what that number actually looks like. So in this small space, look how many of us would be standing up. Now you can sit. Now let's do the next one. If you're a 4 and you're a lady, you're going to stand up. So let's go. I want to stay standing because I'm standing already. I don't want to inconvenience anybody. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm up. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can stay up because you're standing. 1 in 4 women will experience sexual violence in their life. You can sit. Now, fellas, you may have to do something because this statistic, especially the way that it's written, is crazy, but it is our reality. If you're a 5, you're going to stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can stay up. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get to stand up. 1 in 5 people, according to the Center for Disease Control in 2018, should expect, hear this now, should expect to experience sexual violence, whether you are a man or a woman. 1 in 5 people, period, should expect to experience sexual violence. You can sit. But we see this year, we've seen how many people haven't reported, right? Do you want to know why so many people have not reported? Now, we're going to count to 10, but I only want number 6 to stand up. So if you're the 6th person, you're going to stand up, but we're going to count out of 10. No, actually, no. I said that backwards. 1 through 6, you're going to stand up, but we're counting up to 10. But 1 through 6, stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, you're busy. 6. We'll make you 7. 8, 9, 10. You can stay seated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have 10 people, but if there were 10 more, we would all be standing, right? You know what this number represents? The 6 out of 10 victims of sexual assault who know their perpetrator. 6 out of 10 victims of sexual assault know who did that to them. It's not a stranger. It's not SUV. She didn't walk out the club and get hit in the head. 6 out of 10 people who experience sexual violence know who did it to them. Therefore, most people don't report. You can sit now. Now, before I tell you how I got here, I have a poem about how I got to be here. And as I do this, I will need evidence. I will need evidence. The ripped shirt, the stained jeans. All he will need is a denial and a smile to explain that I misconstrued the events of that day. And for the same exact reason that his memory suddenly became fuzzy, so that he could unequivocally deny that he stole something from me that day, well, you see, that's the same reason why I threw the whole outfit away, even though I spent my entire allowance on it. And that's the reason why to this day I still don't wear anything that is a blend of rayon and cotton. And after that, I spent 2 years wearing men's clothing so that nobody could see my body. Then I spent a few more years eagerly agreeing to let boys play me than lay with me, because I thought it would be easier to give it up than to fight when he tries to take it. I cover that with a blanket of sexual exploration and liberation. But the truth, I didn't want a man to ever see me naked. And even though he can't disprove the story I'm telling you is true, do you know what? I will need evidence. As if the life I've lived is not a testament of what he did. Yet I will need evidence. Thank you. I have experienced sexual violence in my life. And my first sexual encounter was sexual violence. And it was date rape. And, well, it wasn't quite a date, like, I needed to get my standards together. It wasn't really a date. But he was my boyfriend, and we went out. And while we were there, I was saying no. And he was saying, what did you think I brought you here for? But because he knew me, he also knew I wasn't going to tell. Because he knew me, he knew my patterns, and he knew my life. I wasn't supposed to be where I was, so I wasn't going to tell anybody what happened to me where I was, because I wasn't supposed to be there. Sometimes it's the stranger that we fear when we should be paying attention to the person who is near. Every piece of information about yourself, especially as women and even gentlemen, CDC, 1 in 5. It's not going to be y'all. We hope not. But 1 in 5 of us should expect to have this experience in our life. So we have to know who we're with and know how safe we are with those people and know what you're revealing, because those pieces of information that we share are the pieces that they use after that to then victimize us. And I became a victim. And I wasn't just a victim because of what happened to me, but I became a victim because I held on to it. I held on to it for so long, I didn't have the opportunity to get a resource to help me I didn't have the opportunity to have therapy. I didn't have the opportunity to have a proper healing before ever entering into a relationship with another man. So it's important that both us ladies are here, but also gentlemen, because you are going to be in a relationship with a young lady, and there may be a moment where you don't understand what's happening, and she can't explain it to you because she hasn't discussed it yet. She can't explain it to you because it happened in the hands of someone who she was intimate with. She'll be guarded with you because it happened in the hands of someone she thought she would be safe with. And because she has not healed from that, some of that will spill over. But now you'll have information to know and to understand what's happening. Know and understand what that looks like. When she tells you what happened, don't ask her why you waited this long. Ask her, how are you now? What are your triggers now? What makes you think of that now? And how can I help you now? Because you cannot go back and undo what's happened. You can only be open to releasing that and healing from it. You can only be open to sharing it. And as you share your voice, it will help you. The more you tell your story, the better you will feel. The more empowered you will feel. The less victimized you will feel. But be careful who you share your story with, because everybody's not ready to receive it, and you will become victimized another time. Before this year, before this moment, I hadn't told anybody except one other person. And that person I thought I was safe with, I discovered I wasn't. And they used that information against me. And they used that information to mock me later on. And I was victimized again. And then I said, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to tell people what happened, hopefully be able to prevent that from happening to anyone, and be open to receiving and having conversation with women who've had that experience and want to move on. Women who've had that experience and want to embrace their womanhood again, because something happens to you and you feel lost, and some of us sometimes go all the way to the left, and we are just so overtly feminine because we want to prove and own and get that back. And some of us, like I said in my poem, for 2 years I wore men's clothing because I thought I was doing, I thought I was showing, I thought I was saying something that made me look like she's an option. But there's nothing that makes you look like an option for sexual assault. There is a mentality in the abuser that makes them believe they can victimize you. But there's nothing inherently wrong with you that this happened. Your outfit is not inappropriate. The way you looked that day was not inappropriate. What you said was not inappropriate. Now, how they interpret it, how they perceive it, and what they do with what they know about you is different. And you can only own your actions. And don't allow what happened to you make you believe that your actions were bad. Because for a long time I thought that I was bad because this happened to me. And I was bad because I didn't fight it. But I couldn't fight. He was 6'3". I like him long, And so I couldn't fight that. The power struggle, it wasn't going to really work out. And I thought that I was bad because I didn't fight. But I knew I didn't want to end up beat up either. And the most important thing that I think that we neglect and we fail to realize and think about sometimes as victims in not wanting to be ashamed and not wanting to be accused anymore or be mocked is who will be his next victim. If I don't tell, if I don't say anything, and that is the regret that I live with. I didn't say anything. So I couldn't have been the first And I probably was not the last. So in keeping your story to yourself, you leave room for another 1, 2, 3, 4, for those other women, for this to become their reality, for them to become a part of this statistic. So tell someone and get the help and the support that you need.